Oh, hi. My mic had fallen off before, but I think I managed to fix it. I'd be a horrible, horrible spy. Um, where's the clicker? Oh God, looking out there's making me nervous. I might just not make any eye contact right now because the last time I was on stage was several decades ago when I played Lady Macbeth in a play and I forgot all my lines. And we didn't have speaker notes or anything at the time, and I had someone backstage hissing lines at me. It, yeah. So some of you might see that my talk title is quite different because I started at A. And instead of ending up at Z, I ended up at like 100. So it's just gone off the alphabet completely. So I apologize for any false advertising you might have had. And, or, it might be a haha, gotcha. I also, while prepping for this talk, I realized like I'm speaking with so many talented, skilled, successful people. And I was like, oh my God, what am I even doing here? But thank you so much for this opportunity, Rachel and Alice, because it's it's been a few years and I finally caved. So then thank you all for coming. All right, so a bit more about me. I'm Anjana. I'm currently in London. I didn't have to travel too far to come like everyone else. I'm from South India, Kerala to be exact, which is the best part of the country. Not biased at all. And I now live in London, which is my favorite city in the world, despite the weather. And I will take no hate for loving London so much. I've been around, and I've been in India, been in London, went back to India, went to California, Stockholm, and now I'm back in London. So this is me in a nutshell. I like to travel. I play sports. I go to the gym. I read a lot, which is why I got into this career. I think I'm trying to learn Portuguese. I have like a 1,400-day streak on Duolingo or something, and I still don't understand anything when I go to Portugal. I love food, and I recently started doing Muay Thai and pottery. So if anything you take from this talk, it should be that, like pottery and Muay Thai are really great for your brain. Two hobbies I highly recommend. In terms of content design work, I fell into this by complete accident while I was at Zomato, which is a restaurant finder app and food delivery app based out of India. Very on brand for my love for food. I started doing content operations, so sort of figuring out how content information will live on the page, how to tag things, sourcing information, verifying it, and then I moved on to writing comms, so emails, customer support, some social media stuff, and then I started writing about product feature launches. I actually started with app release notes. I feel like that's like something that everyone starts with, and then it became like blog posts and all the in-app comms. And I was like, oh, I really like doing this. How do I do more of this? And obviously, thank you, Google. I learned about UX writing, and I reached out to John Saito from Dropbox, who was an amazing mentor for me at the time, and Paul Moulton from Spotify. Like they helped me navigate this really complex world that I was new to. And then PayPal was hiring a content designer, and they were hiring in India. I had a lot of trouble getting a job because I was applying to lots of jobs in the UK and around Europe, but it was always like, oh, we need a native English speaker. And I'm like, well, I can speak English, even though I'm from India for obvious reasons. But yeah, they hired, and I was really happy to get the job at PayPal. And then I was moving to the Bay Area full time, but then an opportunity came up, and I moved to Stockholm in the middle of November. And today I am at Spotify, where I've been for almost 8 years. So this is the place I've been longest. I love my job. I love the team. I love the app that I work on. And these three roles have shaped me. I'm a design lead at Spotify, but I don't manage people. I'm on the IC track. So yeah. So today we're going to talk about how this talk has ended up to be about playing to your strengths and not just being seen as that person for UI strings, which is what I was for the longest time. And it was so frustrating. So, and I also didn't think that this was the right audience to talk about, like, oh yeah, build relationships with your product manager and your designer and your research. Like I think we all know that now. So that's why the talk has changed. So the top three qualities are being nosy, being annoying, and having no filter, that's what really gets you there. Actually, one of my best friends is in the audience here, and I think she'll attest to the fact that these are like key core personality traits of mine that I carry forward to my professional life. But let's rephrase that a bit. So it's about being curious. I think you will hear that word a lot today. Being persistent and being really honest. So while doing this talk, like I think it was very cathartic. Like it really helped me delve into my brain. I felt like I understood a lot more about myself. So one of the things, like I tend to ask a lot of questions. So the whys and hows are really important. I love asking product folks questions about what we're doing. I love speaking to our legal team about like, oh my God, can we like talk about these things? And just speaking to our business people and tying user needs together. And I'm of the opinion that if you give users what they want, it will eventually lead to good business results. I was never a numbers person at school. I get things wrong on a calculator. I'm not that person, but I like looking at numbers and data and graphs and and at first I felt like I was poking a lot of holes, but I feel like it's about seeing patterns and understanding intent and anticipating what people might need, feel, or misunderstand. Again, like being nosy like really comes into use because I like to look inside and outside. If there's some impact in numbers, it's just important to see what competitors are doing. Maybe there's like a political thing that's happening or a financial crisis happening somewhere. Everything can impact everything that you do. I think, and like just connecting everything to the broader experience. My mom always said as a kid, like I was always like, oh, but why to everything? So I think I'm still the same. I don't really fear any question is like inappropriate to ask or stupid. Or maybe there are some inappropriate questions. Let me take that back, sorry. Maybe there are some dumb questions, but I think an inherent need to know everything is what that helps. And I feel like language and consistency builds so much trust. So I think that helps you carve out like what the product strategy should be just through language. The second one is to be persistent. I'm not that scared to ask questions, like I said, and I just followed up a lot. And I used to be really worried, like, oh my God, am I going to be seen as the annoying person in the room? But then I just stopped caring about that. I am still very annoying. I don't care about that. I feel like I think we all, when we get into the details, we all forget that every step is a conversation with your user, whether there's words on the screen or not. And, I feel like I run through a lot of foundational research to see if something's not working or if something can be improved. I'm like constantly offering to help other people do their jobs because I think that it might come from I'm from India and we come from quite a service-driven culture, so it's more like how can I make this person's life easier? So I feel like that's something that also I just brought into myself, into my work, and just being able to like scratch any itches that I might have, like, oh, I want to go test this out by myself. And we have a lot of tools at our disposal, like, we've got usertesting.com, we've got Maze, we've got Cursor AI, and all these tools to help you. So I want to help other people, but I also want to help myself do the job. So that's how I started. But also I used to really delve deep into. I should try and like reply to everything. Let me get involved in everything, and then I ended up doing other people's jobs for them, and I realized I was burning out. So I think it's important to set clear boundaries as we do it, and because that helps you lead a sustainable career, and it also helps other people learn mistakes and fail gloriously. It's not just about winning. The other thing I wanted to just quickly mention is that please just use, especially in this new world of AI over the last few months, I just feel like people have been throwing things at me like, oh, try this AI tool, try this, try that. And I just feel like I'm back at school being forced to learn some subjects that I don't need to because of the intense pressure of being like having to use these tools. So as you move along in your career, just use anything that helps you be I don't know, work smarter, work harder, like anything that's alleviating any stresses. Yeah. The last one is, being honest. I'm quite brutally honest as a person. When something isn't working or not up to scratch, I will speak up. I have learned over the years to be tactful because, like, when I was younger, I didn't really have a filter. My face didn't really have a filter either, so it would just show up on my face. So I've just learned how to frame that honesty with some tact, and I do believe that teams move so much faster when we're not tiptoeing around something. And if I'm not afraid to, I realize like I'm not afraid to say things that if I don't know something, that's fine. I think honesty, when delivered with care, builds a lot of trust, and that is what helps build really great teams. And someone's going to thank you somewhere, someday, even if you didn't know. How does this show up in my daily work? So I try and help researchers with their surveys because I do believe like language starts so much from even before the screen, like when you're talking outside the app or wherever you're working on outside the screen. So at one point there was I was sometimes like when I'm bored, I don't really have that much time to be bored at work, to be honest. But if I have a bit of extra time on my hands, I'll take like internal documents and be like, oh, this looks really jargony. Let me try and make this into like user-facing language and how I might do it. So that's helped like product people a lot, even though I know they try and use ChatGPT for everything right now. And I'm like, this is still really bad. Your prompts are really bad. So but yeah, translating strategy into words people can understand is like the core of what we do. And even if it's just like fun exercise, just join early. I also used to be that when I first started my career, I always found that like, oh, I'm not being included in like these kickoff meetings. And I used to just like stalk calendars and just join meetings until like I was added to them. And if people were surprised, I'm like, well, I'm supposed to be here and here's how I'm helping you by being here. So yeah, ask weird questions, write drafts if they're never shipped. Language is everywhere, and the easier it is to understand it's better, and it helps so many other teams. One of my favorite parts of my job is actually working with product marketing. Like I love building out a messaging toolkit for them, and I'm like, hey, this is how we're going to use this in app because this is what, as the product team, we believe we want people to use and learn. And they've been great in terms of like being a good partner to me because they'll just be like, oh, I'll read in all the marketing teams, I'll read in all the PR teams, so they help me a lot, and just sort of like making it easier for them. I know like positioning is not really a traditional part of our jobs, but I think we are best placed for it because we know who we are building for, and we've been through so much user research. So don't let that work just be done by the marketing teams. Content design is, it's the invisible thing, but the relationships is what make it really tangible. So building trust with your product marketing, legal, PR teams, research teams, and all your R&D teams, like they invite you in early, and you become a part of the decision making, and not just that bit of polish where they're just like, oh, can you look over this just for a second? It's never 1 second. As previous speakers have said, like like influence doesn't come from being loud. I'm a very loud person. I don't even need this mic, to be honest. But it really comes from being consistently helpful and genuinely collaborative. And like content design at the end of the day is like about understanding people and what they want and communicating that. But this part took me a really long time to learn. Like, please set boundaries. Like I said, I used to jump into like every doc, every thread, trying to be helpful, and also because I thought I needed to do something for things to be done. But you just end up burned out. Our job is to shape meaning, not to do everyone else's work. So now I contribute when it helps me do my job better, and I leave space for others to do theirs. And like I said before, sometimes that means letting people make mistakes so they can learn from it. Not everything has to be perfect. So that's the TLDR, again, the updated version. So curiosity helps define better problems. Persistence drives clarity and trust. Honesty strengthens teams. Boundaries make it sustainable. And relationships amplify your impact. And I do believe the relationships we build by asking questions, having bold conversations, giving honest feedback are what helps us have real lasting impact as content designers. So be yourself, be authentic, don't be scared. And remember, if you're ever stressed out, it's just a job. It's meant to fund the rest of your life. That's it. Thank you.